Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. This is the problem when vehicles have been untouched for too long. So quick background, if you've been watching videos, this one's the one with a bit over 200,000 Ks on the clock. We're doing the injectors now. From what we've done so far, we don't believe it's ever been pulled apart. So we're just quickly stripping it apart. And what we've noticed, everything is super tight. Like the design of this was that these were going to come out every 40,000 kilometers for our valve clearance. Once again, like I said in other videos, that's not what I recommend. That's not what they need, but they do need to come apart periodically. This is a 2005 model. It's now 2022. It's almost 20 years. It's about 17 years, whatever we worked out, old, and it hasn't been, you know, bolts. They almost become, let me tell you a little story, actually. We like stories, don't we? Everything here, it came from the earth, and the earth wants it back, right? So the bolts, all the different materials together, if they stay there too long, they kind of become one. They want to stay there. They don't want to come out again. So you've got to keep things moving, keep things working. Your injectors really need to come out every 7 or 8 years just to turn the bolts and get things happening. You leave something shut, closed too long, and that's what we've noticed so far. Everything is just super tight. So we're going to continue, get it apart. Because it's got a bit over 200,000 Ks, we actually believe it could be genuine kilometers. It's a bit dirty in the engine there, but from everything else we've seen on the vehicle, because the owner said he believes that it's done more like about 400,000, but that's not, from us looking around, that's not what we believe, but we'll just see how we go. But these are the originals. They haven't been out, so there's going to be a story once they come out. It's going to have the old original copper seats. Whether the seats are leaking or not, who knows. Let's have a bit of a look around the edge of the injectors, because normally, see at the edge there where you might see the volcanoes spewing out from each side. I'm not up there, so I can't see, but I can't see anything from the reach and just looking at the camera lens. We'll come back to you and let you know whether those seats are leaking or whether this guy gets lucky, because it's going to be a heap of cleaning up the mess, that sort of thing. And then, of course, the oil pickup needs to be checked. If you've got an older vehicle, a diesel, that has injector set up like this, where the common rail injectors are in the engine, the seats can leak and the oil can go down and then get carbonized from the heat of combustion and block up the oil pickup, you really need to be checking your oil pickup. Even if you've picked up a vehicle secondhand, you don't know the service history, you should probably check that oil pickup, as people have recently demonstrated on the V6, even the petrol engines. Not even just Prados, Corollas, Camrys, whatever, that oil pickup, if it hasn't had regular oil changes, the oil contamination can easily block up those holes slowly, and it's like another coat of paint until the holes are blocked, and then oil starvation, and then you'll need a new engine. So interesting the way they all sort of separated, or are they, maybe it has been apart. Hang on, they're not the original washers, so it has been off once. All right, so these seats, they are certainly not the original genuine. So it appears, even though it seemed to be, it's never been pulled apart before, it seems like it has, and that's probably lucky, and hopefully the seats aren't leaking. Like, this is just some other injectors we've got here, so hopefully those seats aren't leaking, you know, like all these injectors we've got here, all these returns, we're in the process, we're going to strip those down. This is just a mess at the moment. Like I said, we're just stripping it down, old parts that need to be cleaned, whatever, we've got to tidy all this up, but this is not the standard gaskets, okay? So, unless the really early one, but I've never seen that, so that is not the standard gaskets. If you watch our injector videos, you'll know the standard double-sided ones. They're joined together, much easier to install on the fuel return line, the leak back pipe, as a double-sided jobby. Right, that's down there. That's down there. Let's see how the next two go. We're going to get lucky all the way, and therefore the customer get lucky. I hope so. We want clean ones. We don't want blow-by mess to clean up. Bit of a wiggle and a pull, and out they come. Beautiful. Last but not least, it's turning, that's good. Does it sound like it's got sand in it? Bit of sand grit. Maybe. Hard work. Bit of a hard work, this one, you know? Righty.
It's tight.
Yeah, I reckon it might have some grit in there. All right, let's get it. Take a break for a minute. Oh, is it coming out or what?
Yeah, I'm not going to lunch until it comes out.
Sounds good to me. I'm hungry, so hurry up and get it out. All right, so the mess on the bench. Here's the injectors. Now look at this. See, there's all this. I've sort of got to work this out yet. Now, is that the original seats? No, it looks like they've got the coating over them. So they have been out before at some stage, probably a long time ago. And The seats obviously aren't leaking, but what's all this? You know what I mean? Yeah, interesting. So I just checked the dates on the injectors. They are manufactured 2012. So sometime around 2013, they would have been replaced, and that's good. So what that tells us is whoever put it back together over tightened the hell out of them, okay? And the vehicle possibly has done more kilometers than 200,000. I'm not sure what, but yeah, they're obviously certainly due again because they're 10 years old once again. Bada bing, I don't know how long you'll be able to get these new ones. We've only got a few sets left. Prices have gone up. All right, so I was wrong again. Turns out that I'm wrong a lot of the time. So we thought this was untouched. They'd never been out. They'd obviously been out because they've been, it's an 05. It had whatever year I said the injectors were not long ago. I've forgotten already. That's what happens after a big lunch. But there's also evidence in the ports that we're trying to clean, evidence of staining the blow-by, the situation that would have been on the old injector. So what I'm trying to get at is, if it had, what did I say, 2012 built injectors, I think it was. So if they were replaced around then, about 10 years ago, that would mean it had blow-by before that. So it was less than 7 years old, which would mean it would have had to have done a lot of Ks. So now I'm back leaning toward, even though the vehicle's very clean, it's perhaps true that it had done a lot of kilometers and probably had blow-by before. By the look of it, see all this black stuff up on the, because when you've got that situation, it all gets, it can be from a lack of oil changes. Let's have a look. What's it looking like down there? It's looking a bit better than it was, but just trying to look on the sides. That looks good to me, mate. What are you trying to clean anyway? Let me see the next one. I think you might need to clean that one though. These ones are looking pretty average still. I reckon start focusing on all these other ones. This one's looking pretty good, mate. We'll go back to that one after the others are looking good. All right, let me have a look, mate. You've been up here cleaning for ages. Oh, yeah, there's a bit of, I can see the bit of stain there, right? See on the side wall, everybody? Everybody, see in there on the side wall, middle of the picture? But mate, you've been scrubbing that for ages. So, must have either had blow-by. The port down the bottom where the washer's gonna go is good. The O-ring area, everything's clean and clear. It's just the stain. We can't waste any more time on it. These ones, beautiful. Right, they're all good. Can't get it to focus down there. Yeah, they're all clean. It's not focused, but yeah, I can see what you're chasing, and it's good that you're that fussy, but just stop it, okay? Stop it. Now get the bloody injectors and put them in there. All right, so this is looking a bit better. You can see all the good clean bit, all the pipes and everything down there. Obviously it needs a bit more of a cleanup. It is an old vehicle. You can see the intercooler is all quite dirty, that sort of thing. It's all good. We've got a few finishing touches here. Don't forget to plug in your coolant temperature sensor. Down there, you'll hear the click. And of course the wiring loom clip there, and of course the compressor plug there, the wiring loom clip there. Make sure it doesn't come up, make sure everything's secured. Happy days. These wiring looms on the Hilux, they pretty much just sit there and rub on the valve cover, so be aware of that. It's not a big deal, but that's how they sit. The plastic's a bit harder on these or something than on the 1KZs because they used to rub and rub away. You can see this has probably been ripped out before, but that just pops back in there, and for a lot of people they just fall out because you can see a lot of people really butcher them up when they try and get these airbox lids off. And we clean the MAF sensor. If it needs a new O-ring, we replace it, but it doesn't usually. So careful when you clean it that you don't damage the O-ring. A little bit of moly coat in the hole here, that'll go back in. Plug will go on, and some final checks on this one, and it's pretty much complete as far as the physical injector replacement goes. What we'll do, we'll have a quick look at the readings once we get it happening so that you can, you know, understand the difference between there was a diagnostic video on this one, 05 Hilux, check it out and have a look what it's like with fresh new injectors. Still some important things we need to talk about. You can see down here, for those people that don't know, I'll try and get down there and show you, it's very difficult. Middle of the picture, down there, that thing behind the pipe, the short SCV. Bump the stop recording button, but yeah, that'll need, that SCV down there, that'll need to be replaced at some stage. This job, we didn't really budget that much time for, didn't really plan for that. It's something else that's got to happen though. So the MAF's all clean and reinstalled, and the plug needs to go clip, clickety click, clickety clack, bada bing, bada boom. All right, so it's all back together. We're just going to have a quick look at this to compare the oil leak situation. It was a very hard valve cover gasket. There is a crack there at that back corner of the bolt, but we believe it's only on the outside of the bolt, so hopefully we're able to save in the money. Look down here, there was that oil at that bolt as well, so it's all been cleaned up. The gasket was rock hard, so they probably never changed it when they did replace the injectors about 10 years ago. So the gasket was probably like 17 years old. So this is all bada bing, bada boom. All right, we're going to go in the vehicle now, quick drive and have a look at the diagnostic and compare to the diagnostic video on this one before the injectors were changed. All right, here we go. The final statistics at Midnight Motors. Yeah, it's getting a bit late. That's why the screen works really well in the dark, doesn't it? Look at that dark background. Okay, so to compare, if you want to compare, check the diagnostic video in the playlist, 2005 Hilux. That would have been released probably just recently or the day before or in the recent couple of days before this video. You can compare the pair. You can see where the calculate load reading should be. Now you'll notice it is a bit jumpy. We'll get to that. It's got the short SCV. Yep, you got it, right? That's what will be. We're even going to change the SCV on this probably next week, and we'll do another video to show you how it affects all these readings, okay? It will. I could be wrong again, but I believe it will steady off the load reading. Now we won't waste too much time on this. Let's get through it. Let's get the injection volume up here. There it is. Look at that compared to before. Isn't that amazing, right? You know, I don't remember what it was before, but I can tell you that it's amazing being around what it should be, and it'll settle down even more once that SCV's been changed. Now see that second one down, jumping up and down. Like I said, that's what they do. Look, new injectors still doing it. That's what they do, so don't waste your time even trying to think about it. Feedback values 1, 2, 3, and 4. We've told you before, this is the sort of numbers you can see. Minus 1.3 is just fine. There's no problem there. Happy days. Now, moving down. The numbers aren't going to be bang on because of the SCV and the fluctuating fuel pressure we'll get to in a moment. But you'll hopefully be able to see some sort of improvement or not, although it's not really looking that flash, and I might have to check some of my own scan tool videos. I'm really interested, can't wait to get into this fuel pressure to see what it's actually doing. It's a bit crazy. But you can see the main injection periods come down, even though it's a bit jumpy still. Again, I'm going to blame the fuel pressure for all of that, right? You can see the timing, okay? Yeah, let's just have a look at the fuel pressure for a minute. Look at it. It's all over the joint, mate. I've already seen 28 and 39. Look at it. Up and down, 29. Excuse me. 37, 29, 38. It's up and down like crazy. Could you imagine, you know, trying to run an engine and your requested fuel pressure is 35,000 kPa, and this thing's shooting up and down to 29, up to 39, down to 29, up to 39. That is not normal. It's going to cause problems, okay? So I'm not going to waste any more time trying to work out if there's any further problems with this vehicle. It drives well. I'm happy with it. I don't believe there's any problems with the turbo. I don't believe there's anything wrong with the engine. It makes some fluctuating rattly sounds when it's cold. And I reckon when it's cold, that SCV is going to be sticking really badly. I can't wait to get it in there. Look at the milliamps on it. Geez, I can't remember what it's meant to be, but I don't take much notice anymore. But let's all go and check my diagnostic videos. 2884 milliamps, I believe, is very high. The current is high. I can't remember what it's meant to be though, but I'm thinking that is very high, okay? So, bada bing, I think that's a video. I don't know what else we're going to see here. The new injectors has improved the normal readings to what would be expected with a fuel pressure that's still wrong. Thanks for watching. Hope we all learnt something. Bada binga, bada boomba. Catch you on the next one, all right? See you guys.